Hey everybody, welcome back and thanks for watching 4 Low Rocks. Today, it's finally time to get rid of that stock Mopar steering stabilizer. And we'll get to that right after this. So why would I want to replace the stock steering stabilizer, you might ask? Well, I've actually been through 2 stock steering stabilizers, 2 of the Mopar units. One came brand new on the unit, as you would expect when I drove it off the lot. And probably somewhere around 20,000 miles, I was having some issues with it leaking. So I took it in. It fell within the production lot number under a service campaign that was going on at the time that called for replacement of that unit. So the dealer replaced it free of charge under warranty, but did talk to me a little bit about the modifications that had been made to the Jeep, and said that if it failed in the future, it might not be covered under warranty. So I drive it off the lot, happy for several weeks, but after a while I started noticing less and less resistance as I was driving down the street, and especially a lot less resistance on the trail. So I started thinking about what was going on. I got down underneath the Jeep, I tightened everything back to spec. I didn't find any issues going on down there, and it had to be the steering stabilizer. So I took it off, I checked it out, and sure as heck, this thing is just not up to task anymore. It should not be that easy to compress. So today, to replace this, we're going to install the Teraflex Falcon Nexus EF 2.2. Well, that's a long term to describe that steering stabilizer, and replace this stock unit underneath the Jeep. So let's get right underneath the Jeep, get to the action, and show you how easy this installation is. The new adjustable steering stabilizer comes nicely packed with all the necessary hardware and a very simple set of instructions affixed right to the box. It includes all of the stamped steel parts to build up a new bracket to fit the Falcon unit. You'll see that later in the installation. The first step in the installation is to elevate the Jeep, get it on jack stands, and then turn the tires all the way to the right for easier access to the tie rod end of the stock stabilizer. The installation can be done with the Jeep on the ground, but a bit of elevation will make it somewhat easier. Here, the 3 bolts on the tie rod end are removed, allowing the end of the stabilizer to be freed from the bracket. Then we remove the axle side bolts, allowing the stabilizer to be completely removed. Retain the axle side bolts for later. Then we'll begin to install the Falcon stabilizer unit by reattaching the axle side mounts and using the stock bolts. Once these are installed, torque the bolts to 35 foot-pounds. Then, remove the bracket from the tie rod side and get rid of it. You won't need this any longer. Then you're going to place your top bracket in where the old one came out, like that. And you're going to place your 2 bolts in there temporarily. Get them seated. Get the other side lined up. Get it seated. And then you're going to go below it and put together the bottom section. Now the bottom section goes together pretty much like the top did, but you're going to put this first spacer in there. Get it lined up over the 2 bolts. Then you're going to put the bottom half of the tie rod end of the spacer in there. Bracket, I'm sorry, bracket. Go just like that. And then you're going to loosely fit the nuts that came with the kit onto the system. And that should give you enough room to maneuver the end of the steering stabilizer into the new bracket and secure the bolts there. Ensure you put a good coating of red Loctite on all of these bolts and secure the end of the stabilizer to the new bracket. Then torque all 3 nuts to 65 foot-pounds. With the installation complete, check for proper clearance throughout the range of travel. Put the Jeep back on the ground, and then it's time for a road test. Let's take a look at the adjustability of this Falcon steering stabilizer. And you can see that currently I have it on the soft setting, rotated away from you, and there's the medium setting, and these are all, you can feel a detent in there. And then up is the firm setting. I like the firm setting when I'm towing my trailer. Makes a lot of sense to have it like that. It feels really good. It feels like the Jeep is not going to wander and that I can hold my lane position really well. Most of the time that I'm pulling that trailer, I'm on the highway anyway. The next position down, the medium setting, I kind of like that for just general around town, all-purpose kind of driving. And of course the soft setting is out there for rock crawling and making sure that I can really spin that wheel very easily to get around obstacles. So that's the adjustability. You can definitely feel the differences when you're driving, and I really enjoy that about this stabilizer. Well folks, if you have a JL Wrangler and you still have that stock steering stabilizer on it, and maybe you've lifted your Jeep and put heavier wheels and tires on it, I would strongly recommend looking into and fitting an aftermarket steering stabilizer such as the Falcon that I just put on the front of this Jeep with the multi-level settings, because right now I have it set on stiff and I really like it around the highway here. It feels like a sports car just on these city streets. And I'll set it on soft when I hit the trails, and it'll be more maneuverable for rock crawling and making tight turns and whatnot. So this is working out pretty nicely and I like the feel of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment below. And if you haven't already done so, please click that subscribe button, as it means a lot to me and it helps to support the channel. Lastly, please follow 4Low Rocks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, happy wheeling.